Well, the renowned American Birkebeiner cross-country ski race wrapped up over the weekend.
And we wanted to tell you about a man who once finished with the best time but didn't win the race. KARE 11's Boyd Hoopert has the tale of redemption, disqualification, and a highly unusual bond on bindings.
Minnesotans glide into winter with competing perspectives.
Yeah, I don't like the cold.
Joe Dubay
I do not like winter.
has won.
No.
You don't like winter?
No, it's cold.
Oh, what?
And Chris Parr, another.
I lived in Los Angeles for 4 years, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. I don't know. I missed winter.
Yet theirs isn't a story about winter differences, but an off-the-rails winter bond.
Ready up there, good buddy?
Yep, ready to go.
All right, let's do it.
Skiers kind of joke about, yeah, it'd be funny to put two people on skis, but now we kind of did it.
I don't think I could do it. That's amazing.
Chris and Joe bought the longest pair of skis they could find, then had them mounted with 2 sets of bindings.
3, 2, 1. I think the hardest part is the constant communication. Hup, hup, hup. If I forget to tell him what we're doing, we crash. And we've done that. Yeah.
People are curious. When you first learn to stride, it's kind of like that.
Except you have a 160-pound weight to tow around.
Hey, now I'm not just a weight.
People are curious
Going forward.
how they do it.
Here we go.
But the better story is why.
My first college class, I met Joe.
Chris met Joe freshman year at St. Scholastica, but was already well acquainted with his name.
Everybody knew who Joe Dubay was.
As a high school sophomore, Joe won the state Nordic skiing championship. As a junior, he did it again. And as a high school senior, he studied abroad and became the junior national champion of Finland. Then, weeks later, a broken ankle sent the Nordic skier downhill.
Got prescribed medication. At the time, that was Oxycontin. The switch kind of flipped pretty quick into needing, pain medication to kind of get through the day.
From hero in headlines to young man in trouble.
Started skiing less. Performance and skiing obviously continued to just drop off. Spent probably close to 2 years, in active addiction.
Joe sought help at Hazelton Betty Ford. Then, fresh out of rehab, arrived at St. Scholastica, where he joined the Nordic ski team with his new friend, Chris.
I'll never forget you showing up at practice the first day. So incredibly out of shape. Like, worst on the team by far.
Certainly in no shape for this. The American Birkebeiner, North America's largest cross-country ski race. Joe didn't even bother registering.
I wasn't skiing well.
You hadn't skied well in in 3 years.
But Chris wanted in,
So I signed up.
only to have his coach scratch his Birkie plans due to a junior national race the following week. So, with race bib in hand, Chris turned to his friend Joe and said,
Take mine.
Yeah.
which Joe did.
When I handed Joe my bib, I said jokingly, just don't win it.
Some things in life are difficult to explain. This is one of them. That's Joe in white, midway through the race, and somehow keeping up with the leaders. As if he'd rediscovered something inside he'd lost.
I was right there at the finish. I couldn't believe it.
Long story short, it came down to a sprint.
Again, Joe in white, their college coach, the race announcer, who quickly realized the winning skier didn't match the bib.
The thought of the bib didn't cross my mind.
I forgot about the bib too. I was so excited and so happy. Joe won the Birkie.
Joe stood atop the winner's podium in Chris's number.
And then it hit the fan.
It was gulp.
Race officials disqualified Joe, giving the win to the second-place finisher. Joe and Chris were fined and banned from the Birkie for 2 years. They wrote a letter of apology. That was 11 years ago.
Go ahead, go!
And look who's back. Chris running for a spot at the front of the Birkie, Joe to his left.
We are underway!
On one pair of skis.
It's a wild idea.
They didn't exactly ask if they could do this.
Hey, ho!
But any punishment today will be self-inflicted. Oh! We caught up with them at their next pit stop. Still a good idea?
Great idea. Yeah. Still a good idea.
A 55-kilometer collaboration.
Hey, you two are amazing.
Yeah!
That would take them all the way to downtown Hayward and the finish line.
We did it. We did it. We did it.
This time, middle of the pack.
Tandem skier, first of his kind.
But all time, leaders outside the line.
Less nerve-wracking, too. More relieving. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Boyd Hupert, KARE 11 News, Hayward, Wisconsin.
Amazing. We learned about this story directly from Chris Parr, who, by the way, works in our KARE 11 marketing department. Joe Dubay, who overcame substance abuse, now helps others as an addiction services manager at Alina. And that class at St. Scholastica in which they met, sports ethics.
Well, they would go on to have the bib story at the Berkey. That is amazing.
It was an honest thing. I mean, it was not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just don't win.
You just didn't think Joe would win.
I mean, we're talking 15,000 skiers. I mean, to win that thing is, it's the
Amazing.
second biggest cross-country ski race in the world that happened up in Hayward. And it's, I mean,
Great
it's
guys. We know
world-renowned.
Chris is a great guy.
Chris is a great guy.
I had no idea he was such a talented
I know,
skier.
we saw
I'm
him
so
today.
worried about their knees. Like when you fall and
Well,
someone
falling
else is
together, too,
falling.
That's
yeah,
so many
remarkable.
questions.
Okay,
but
so
good
many
for them.
things. Yes, thank you, Boyd, for covering that story. Now we completely understand.